Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today is another episode of Practical Skills Minecraft, and in this one we're going to be taking a look at something really awesome, and that is this potion brewing station. Now what this allows you to do is select an item or ingredient from the list that you can see on the left, hit the button, and then the machine will do all of the funny business for you, and you will get yourself a set of brand spanking new potions. It works very nicely, so let's take a closer look at it. Like a few of my more recent creations, this build does use the switch that was introduced in the latest snapshot that allows you to use an item frame to give a redstone output. Now you can see here from this list of items, we have got water breathing potion, fire resistance, swiftness, healing, night vision, regeneration, weakness, and strength. Now I am feeling like a bit of strength potion, so then we just hit this button here and you will see our bottles flow into our brewing stand and our nether wart is working away, and we'll just wait for that one to brew through. Then in comes our second ingredient, and that is the blaze powder, and hopefully that will end up creating a strength potion, unless I've completely forgotten my potion brewing recipes, which does often happen. But as you can see, this all works well and is coming through nicely. Now before anyone starts shouting, oh but what if I want a glowstone effect or a redstone effect, don't worry, I will get onto that in a few seconds, but before we start any of the explanation process, how about we take a look at the redstone behind it. And here it is. As you can see, it is fairly big and fairly bulky, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, I'm going to try and run you through some of the things that are going on behind the redstone. So first off, we have got the green line. This is a switch. It was designed by Generic B, and I will put a link to that one in the description just below the like button. This thing is absolutely brilliant. It works wonders. I've used it in multiple builds recently, and I love it. So there's that one. Now above it, you can see our item selection system. When you hit the button, this redstone line will turn on, and it will run into a dropper, which will pop up an item, and into our hopper line, which will then run into the brewing area, which I'll go through in a second. But over here we have got our two droppers that can be used for glowstone, redstone, gunpowder, or whatever else you want to throw on your potions. Now back over to the brewing area, you can see that I've actually left this out in the open, and that is because I really like the way this looks. I don't know why. From a distance, it's just nice. It's like a skeleton design, and it looks great. Now one of the few drawbacks of this design is the fact that it doesn't actually remove the items from the brewing stand. You have to collect them yourself. Now I don't really see that as a problem, but some of you might, so I will give links to alternate designs in the description so that you can check those out for yourselves. Right, so now that I've gone through all that, I guess there's nothing really else to say, otherwise I'll just be repeating things. So if you do want to check this out in a little bit more detail, there will be a world download in the description. But now, if you do want to build it, we are going to get on with the tutorial, so let's begin. So you want to get things started with a 5x9 wall, and then behind that you want an 8x9 space. So like I say, it is quite a big build, but we're going to start things off with the bare necessities, you could say, and that is by placing in our item frames in a 3x3 grid, and then our button next to our item frames, and then in here you can see I've got our glass window that you can see in the original design. Obviously that isn't necessary, but like I say, I think it is really cool and adds quite a bit to the build. Next, you want to grab a redstone torch and place it in the center item frame. That is going to act as your pointer. Then you want to stay in line with these center item frames and go one block up like this and place a comparator running out. And you should see that you get a redstone output, and that is because of the item inside the item frame. Then you just want to grab a line of blocks and run it right the way out to the end with redstone dust running along like this. And then you just want to place blocks down like this, with repeaters facing in this direction here, blocks on top of all of those, with redstone dust on top of that, so like this. And then you just want to place blocks here, running all the way across once again, with repeaters set to all of them to 3 ticks. And then redstone torches on all of these blocks, with blocks on top of those torches. And then you want to grab your sticky pistons and place them on top of all of these with blocks on top of those as well. Next to this block here, you just want to go 2 blocks out like this, take out that block and place a block underneath, and then create this sort of diagonal pattern going all the way along like that. Grab your repeaters and run them into all of these pistons, and then redstone dust on top of all of these blocks. Then over here, you just want to grab your droppers and place them all facing upwards. There is a lot of repetition in this build, so just go all the way along like that, Come on. And then you just want to place a block up at the end here and place your hoppers running all the way across like this. And that is quite a large quantity of the build done already, so nice work. Then you want to go up behind your button, grab a redstone torch and place it on that block with a block on top, and then another redstone torch with another block on top, and then just grab your blocks and run them round in this sort of formation with a repeater, set it to 4 ticks, and another repeater, set it to 4 ticks. We are now going to start work on the actual brewing area, so you want to go over to this piece of glass and place down your brewing stand. Then into the side of it you just want to place a hopper and grab your double chest and place it on top of that hopper. Then you want to just grab some water bottles and put them all into this chest, and you will see they will begin flowing into our brewing stand there, so that is ready for brewing. Then above your brewing stand you just want to place a bunch of hoppers like this and a hopper running into that hopper there, so that will connect up this line of hoppers to this one and they will all be going down into the brewing stand. Then next to this purple block here you just want to place a dropper running into that hopper, and that is where all of your nether wart is going to be going, so it's very important indeed. Now, if you want the additional glowstone, redstone and gunpowder line, then you have to pay attention here. You just want to place a block next to the redstone torch and a repeater running across like this. Now, one very important thing to mention is that if you do it like this, you have to make sure that when you are filling up your chest full of water bottles, you also fill up the hopper. Otherwise, you will just end up with dud potions. You have to fill up the hopper, and then gradually they will run through every time you press that button. But anyway, underneath you just want to place a sticky piston with a redstone power block on its face, and then grab a bunch of blocks like this and run them all the way along like that, with repeaters running into this block, all of which are set to 4 ticks. Then you just want to grab a redstone torch and place 2 droppers facing upwards, if you can place them, and then hoppers running all the way along into that hopper there. Now this is another very important thing to mention, that your glowstone and redstone one has to go in here, and all of your gunpowder has to go into the back one. If you don't have it in that order, then you will end up with some funny potions that you definitely don't want. All that's left to do now is give it a quick whirl to see if everything is working properly. So we just hit this button here and we should see that all 3 water bottles have gone into the brewing stand. That has happened, and then we have got our nether wart in there, that is also working nicely, and we have our blaze powder for strength potion, our redstone to create a potion that lasts for a little bit longer, and also our gunpowder to turn that into a splash potion. I would consider that a bit of a success, wouldn't you? And there we have it, folks. You have built yourself a potion brewing station, and it certainly wasn't that hard, was it? Now you may notice a slight difference between the 2 designs here. The one on the left has a load more hoppers, and the one on the right is the one that I showcased in the beginning. The reason that I didn't do the one on the right is because I did the full tutorial on it, and then it turns out I made a massive schoolboy error, and it actually creates a clock in the way that it works, and obviously you don't want that, and somehow that managed to fit through my testing. So that's a little bit worrying, isn't it? But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. If you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.